I'm going to apply a little bit of powder to set it all in place. I'm going to use the MAC Mineralize Skinfinish, just so it's locked in place. This one's lovely because it's got a tiny bit of coverage, but it doesn't look too matte. It's got a sort of mineralize. It gives the skin a bit more of a 3D look. Just like to lock it in place, especially the areas you don't want to be shiny. And also I have to set mine under the eyes, otherwise it will just gather. There we go. So I've also made sure that the areas I want to contour are set so that the product I use, because I'm using more of a powder product, it's not going to grip. And I know people think that contouring's a fairly new thing, what with Kim Kardashian and everything, but actually it's been around for centuries. I'm going to use MAC Harmony blush, which is a matte, and going back to the eye contour, matte is always better with the contour. I'm going to use a MAC contouring brush, and this one's a little, the shape of it really fits into the hollow of the cheekbone, so a good sort of indicator where you want to contour is starting from the top of the ear and heading towards the corner of the mouth. Just use a little bit of product to begin with and just push it into that hollow area there. A little bit there. Just really make sure it's all really blended. And actually it's easier to contour on someone else because you can kind of look at their face from all different directions. I think the thing you have to be careful on yourself is it can look right from the front, but then you can get a little bit too much of a stripe down the side. So just a tiny bit of product, blend it. For doing this side, you're turning it so you have it that way, the brush, and that way. And I'll just do a tiny little bit of the product here. I don't overload it because in real life a full-on nose contour looks too much. And then after that, you could just leave it with that contour, but I like to use a bronzer just to make sure all of those lines are really diffused and further warm up the face. The contour colour, it's quite good to use a cooler skin tone, and then with the bronzer we're going to just add a little bit of warmth. This one's called Give Me Sun, it's a MAC Mineralize one, so I'm just warming it up and blending out all that contour. Do it where the sun hits you as well, just on the nose and just from the top of the forehead. And under this bit here can get a little bit lighter. It doesn't see the sun, so we want to make sure that's all warmed up, and also check your ears, make sure they don't look lighter, especially if you've got your hair up. Okay. And then to my favourite part, which is highlighting. I think if you've got contour, there's nothing better than a really beautiful pop of highlight, and that's just going to accentuate that cheekbone. So we pushed that area back with more of a matte contour, and then I just want to pull out the cheekbones especially. For this I'm using, it's an American product, you've probably heard of it now, but it's from the Balm and it's Mary Lou Manizer. I pronounced that right. I'm using the same Zoeva brush that I just quickly powdered with. These Zoeva brushes are lovely because they're so soft. This highlight has a real sheen to it, so you would only need a tiny bit, but it's just going to make your skin look so youthful and alive. When your foundation's really matte and flat, you can look a little dry and tired. So I'm also just applying a little bit here. I don't really like adding a highlighter here if it's got a sheen, just because anywhere, like I suppose just here and here is where you want it to be slightly more matte, because that's where you'd normally get oily. And then you can also just use a little bit on your finger. Cupid's bow. A little bit extra to your nose. Just right down the centre so you're accentuating the shape of your nose, making it nice and slim. Also, I've got a long face, so I don't really want to highlight this. I don't want to make my face look any longer. Next I'm going to use blush, and I thought I'd stick with Makeup Revolution as it's such an affordable high street product. This one is from their Ultra Blush palette, and it's a cream blush palette. I love cream for getting that really youthful, healthy glow, and like a glow from within rather than just a powder sitting on top. You can really make it one with your foundation then. The nice thing about this palette as well, excuse how mucky it is, this is my personal palette, and again I don't use it in my kit just because it's not that luxurious for my clients, but for myself it does the job. So again, it's got the more orangey tone ones, they're really mucky because I mixed them together, sorry I should have cleaned it, I forgot, and then the more pinky tone. So I'm going to be wearing more of a pinky colour lip. I might just use a little bit of this. I always dip in between them all usually. Just a little bit of that. Slightly red, use a little bit more of the cooler pink just to mix it in. And then very pigmented, so a little bit goes a long way, but don't panic if you feel like a doll, because I'm going to do a little tiny bit like that. Just with my fingers pressing it in, and then I'm going to go back with my Beauty Blender, and that's got a little bit of the foundation on still, and it'll just work it into the skin and take off the excess. I feel like when my skin's more fair and cooler tone, I love just warming up that area there and really making you look fresh and alive with a lovely cream blusher. So I want to make sure it's really well blended, so that Beauty Blender just takes a lot of the work out and make sure it's really pressed in. But most of the time I don't bother with a brush on myself either with the cream blushes, because you will gunk up your brush, and also you don't get as much control. You really want to work it into the skin so it all becomes part of the foundation.